The entire automotive world is racing toward battery-powered electric vehicles. Yet the company that launched the modern eco-friendly car is now hesitating. In the late 1990s, Toyota released the Prius, proving that a mass-produced hybrid could be both functional and profitable. But for Toyota, staying ahead means looking past the tailpipe and into the energy-intensive materials used to build the car itself. The electricity required to charge these vehicles is often generated by the very thing they are meant to replace: the burning of coal, diesel, and natural gas. Then there is the manufacturing of the batteries. Extracting lithium, cobalt, and nickel is a high-heat, high-emissions process that requires a massive upfront expenditure of fossil fuels. This chart shows the carbon debt accrued during manufacturing. A new electric vehicle generates over 1,300 kilograms of CO2 before it even reaches a dealership, a footprint large enough to compromise its environmental purpose. Between a dirty power grid and the ecological cost of mining, Toyota concluded that the battery electric model wasn't the final answer. They needed a fuel source that didn't rely on rare metals. Pure hydrogen is a compelling alternative. When the bonds between hydrogen atoms are broken, they release 3 times the energy of petrol, while producing nothing but water vapor as exhaust. However, hydrogen is the lightest element in the universe. To store enough of it to power a car, the gas must be compressed under immense pressure. In a densely packed traffic jam, every vehicle carrying a tank of high-pressure fuel is a potential hazard. A major collision could turn a simple fender bender into a violent chain reaction. Hydrogen offers unrivaled energy density, but the logistics of storing it safely in a consumer vehicle remain unmanageable. In the 1980s, an inventor named Stanley Mayer claimed to have solved this with a car that ran on water. His design failed because water is corrosive to metal, and the gases produced were dangerously unstable. Toyota's engineers are revisiting the concept. Instead of storing explosive gas or heavy lithium, the car carries a tank of inert water. The secret is onboard electrolysis. By applying a small electrical charge, the vehicle splits water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. This hydrogen is instantly fed into a modified combustion engine. It sparks, pushes the pistons, and is consumed immediately, meaning the volatile gas is never stored in a high-pressure tank. To prevent the corrosion that plagued earlier water car designs, the internal surfaces of the fuel system are treated with modern water-resistant coatings. Onboard electrolysis provides the efficiency of hydrogen without the risk of an explosion or the environmental toll of battery mining. However, this system is not a perpetual motion machine. It is governed by the laws of thermodynamics, which state that splitting water requires a significant amount of energy. This balance chart compares the energy input against the eventual output. It takes 180 megajoules of energy to separate the water, but burning that extracted hydrogen only yields 121 megajoules. If the electricity used to split that water comes from a coal-fired grid, the car still creates a net increase in carbon emissions. The gap is closing, however. Recent developments in Australia have led to electrolyzers that reach 95% efficiency, significantly reducing the energy cost of the process. While the water engine faces an energy deficit today, the technology is designed to scale alongside the global transition to renewable power. It is worth asking why Toyota is pursuing such a difficult engineering goal instead of following the established path of mass-producing standard EVs. After 1945, Japan was a nation with no oil, no iron ore, and no natural resources to rebuild its economy. To survive, they had to turn innovation itself into a commodity, importing raw materials and engineering them into the highest quality technology in the world. Toyota is applying that same post-war logic to the climate crisis. Instead of accepting the ecological cost of battery mining, they are betting that they can once again engineer their way out of a resource shortage.